Tom Dixon works in the labs at Blendtec, testing out some of their blenders. And a while ago, he made some videos demonstrating just how proficient they are. It's only now, however, that the internet is awakening to the truly blinding beauty of blending. At the start of each of his little videos, Tom asks a question.
Will it blend? That is the question.
And the answer is mostly, if not always, it blends. And that includes a can of Coke with the can still on, 40 pens, a pool of marbles, and the handle of a rake. Tom does suggest not trying out many of the experiments at home, as they really are too dangerous. But that doesn't stop him inviting his wife into his labs.
Hi.
And destroying all of her credit cards. Is this genuine testing, or just a cunning ploy to stop her spending any more of his money from blending work?
The ultimate credit card shredder.
All of this blending talk got me thinking as to what I could blend myself. But then I realised I was already planning to blend something. A glass of beer, half a teaspoon of sugar, and a handful of moss, as apparently this can facilitate the growth of a colony of moss almost anywhere. So I filmed myself doing that, pasted it onto the rocks outside my shed, and in coming shows we'll return to see how my rock moss is doing, and you will enjoy it. Just yesterday I got an email from a man called René Crowell entitled, "Is my exoskeleton?" There's nothing wrong with my exoskeleton, of course, and René Crowell is probably fictional, as it was in fact one of a growing number of poems deliberately designed to get through my spam filters. But in this popular animation, the complex words of just one of these spam emails have been put into the mouth of a sort of hamster bird.
In a gravitation without warning, the face of rubbing grew
Sullen, black, angry mouths.
The clouds swallowed up with horsehair. The air was religion with suppressed excitement. The walk howled through the solidness and sobbed, and calfskin and the secret of the desperado.
Very polished. But spam isn't just found on the internet, it can be found on a telephone. So what's to stop me, I thought, taking a few recorded messages, adding some random images, and ending up with something equally as polished.
Hello, your call is held in a queue and will be answered shortly.
Your call is held in a queue. Your call is held in a queue. Your call is held. My call is held. My call is held in a queue. You're number 3 in the queue. You're number 6 in the queue. You're number 4 and a number 2 and a number 8 in the queue. Call held queue. Element OPQ 48262. You're all in my queue. You're number 1 in the queue. How lucky are you? Just putting you through.
Hello, this is Margaret. You're through to Kew Gardens. Well, that's the Oxford Tube, a fairly inexpensive bus service that runs from Oxford to London and back again every single day and night. It's particularly convenient because midway through the journey, it veers off the motorway and stops in the middle of nowhere, next to an empty field. Which isn't very handy for most people, but near that field is a ditch, and inside that ditch lives a man called Hugh Sawyer. Whereas he used to commute every day from his ditch to London to work for Sotheby's, he now spends most of his time away from bogs with his blogs. First it was just a small thing called Ditch Monkey about his day-to-day existence inside his ditch, but now he controls an entire internet hub called Be The Jam, a travel guide which he plans to expand on solar-powered computers while travelling down the Amazon on a homemade punt. To find out more, I decided to go and sleep with him. Well, we're in the middle of nowhere and no idea also where Hugh is. So he's not answering his phone. Maybe there's no reception around his ditch. But let's go and find him. Okay, well, apparently I'm here and I've got to get somewhere just around here. Not open. Okay, right, well I'm now going to look for this other pub. A small boy informed me that no one in this village knows exactly where Hugh lives. But, so that's going to cause us a few problems, I'm sure. Right, well, we've just spoken to a friend of Hugh's called Rob, and he's given us some very elaborate directions, and they're now on the pages of the G2. So let's hope that in the darkness, these will make more sense than they do at the moment. So I left the pub and entered the woods, carrying an extremely heavy suitcase and attempting to follow Rob's directions in the pitch black. Hugh? An hour later, and we were up on the side of a hill, calling out desperately Hugh's name, but not too loud because maybe he didn't want to see us anymore, and that's the reason he wasn't at the bus stop to meet us in the first place. Amazingly, we actually managed to find Hugh's ditch by noticing some socks on a tree, but there was still no sign of Hugh. I feel a little bit like he may be watching us as we're doing this, so we won't rummage around. We wouldn't do that anyway, actually. Bearing in mind the difficulty we had getting there, we had no choice but to pitch a tent. Next morning, with still no sighting of Ditch Monkey, I made the continental breakfast I had lugged up the mountain as a present, in the hope that now it might tempt him out of the undergrowth. It didn't, and I suddenly became angry. No! We packed up and left, arriving back at the motorway, only to find Hugh at the bus stop, 20 hours late.
Hugh, bastard.
Well, that's the end of the show. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Now, I'd like to say that I am not a Mormon, and to whoever has been spreading that vicious rumour on Wikipedia, I say to him, no more, man. As ever, there's lots of little treats on our blog, including an extra bit of video of that stunt we did. Anyway, I'm off home, through these leaves, and over that hill behind you. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Good luck with
nice to meet you.
Yeah, very nice to meet you too.
If you fancy coming out for a few beers before we leave, should.
Oh, thank you, yeah.
Yeah,
We
should
may
do it.
follow you, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, cheers, Hugh. Very nice man, actually, despite his tardiness.